Hi, my name is Robert Landolphi. I'm the Assistant Director of Culinary Development with the University of Connecticut, and thanks for joining me today. What we're going to do is we're going to do a few dishes today. Really easy to make. You can make them at home. Doesn't create a lot of dishes, which is nice because when you're a college student, I know, you don't feel like doing the dishes. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with this first dish, which is actually East African, and it's called pilau, which is actually a meat and rice dish. And we're actually going to serve it with a salad that's called kachumbari. So it's got a little bit of hot going on, a little bit of cold going on, and it's one of my favorites. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin by just putting a little bit of oil in our pan. I have some red onion here, and we're just going to thinly slice it. So what I want to do is I want to go right down the middle, leave the core in there. I'm just going to peel these onions just like so. And if you didn't have any red onions at home and you wanted to actually do Vidalia onions or something like that, or a white onion, it would work fine. Because what we're actually going to do is we're actually going to caramelize these onions. Let's get rid of this. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to do thin slices. So what you want to do is just keep your fingers back all the way through until you basically can't hold on to it. Fold it down, finish it up. All the way across, fold it down, finish it up. All right, then what we're going to do with that, we're going to go right into our pan. Hear that sizzle? That's what we're looking for. Okay, when you got sizzle, then you know you're cooking. If you don't have sizzle, then that means what it's actually doing, it's actually soaking in the grease. It's actually absorbing some of that oil, which we don't want it to do. We want it to cook. All right, we're going to throw a little bit of garlic in there. I have some cloves here. All you want to do is just take the side of your knife, just crush them. Just crush them. Quick chop on them. And again, you see here, we got a lot of the onion family, a little bit of the red onion, a little bit of the garlic. They're all related, so it's a lot of really, really good flavors going on. Just going to put that right in there. And then we're going to add a little bit of heat. This is actually a serrano pepper. If you wanted to use a jalapeno pepper, that's fine. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the stem. I'm going to split it right down the middle. What you end up with is 2 seed pockets, okay? Best way to do this, I just take a spoon like so, and I just scrape the seed pocket right out, just like that. Just take it, just scrape that seed pocket right out. Get rid of our seeds like that. We'll just lay these down. And we're just going to chop these up nice and fine. We don't want really any big chunks of the serrano in there because the last thing you need is somebody getting a mouthful of serrano. It'll make them turn a little bit red. They'll be overheated. All right, so we're just going to take that like so. And we're going to put the serrano right in there as well. Start to bring out some of the heat. As it cooks, it actually releases some of the heat in there. Just going to stir this around a little bit. This looks good. What you want to do is, I'm going to just show you here, I don't know if I can grab a couple. You actually want to cook these down so that you start to caramelize them, and I'll show you in a little while. You want to bring out those kind of like brown tones, because what it is an onion right now is a little bit on the harsh side. As you cook it down, it actually brings out the sugars, caramelizes it, adds a little bit of sweetness to it. Okay? Right here we got a little bit of ginger, and I'm actually using fresh ginger, not dried ginger. And people don't realize, but fresh ginger is actually really, really good for you. It actually lowers your blood pressure. You might have heard the thing, food is medicine. Well, I firmly believe that. It's actually an antioxidant as well. You can just take your peeler like this, and you just want to peel just like so. What people don't realize is ginger is actually very hot. It has a lot of heat. And you'll see a lot of times it's used in dishes such as Szechuan and things like that. You'll see like quite a bit of ginger being used. And I know people don't think about that. They're like, ginger is hot. It is. If you actually took a piece of ginger and actually put it in your mouth, it would actually burn a little bit. It's actually got some serious heat to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this ginger. I'm going to slice that up nice and thin. You don't have to mince it or anything. Your flavor's going to release. It'll actually break down in the stew as we cook it. Okay? I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that right in there. And you could actually smell all these wonderful flavors going on, especially the onions. But when you add the ginger, It's very fragrant. That looks good. They're starting to caramelize, starting to break down a little bit. That looks good. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to add our beef. And what you can use is if you go to the store, you'll actually see the packaged 1-inch or 2-inch cubes of beef. Perfect. It's usually from chuck, it might be from sirloin, but just like that, you know, as you cook it, it's going to break it down. So I'm just going to add that right in. I'm going to toss it around a little bit, and I'm going to have that beef kind of brown up with the onions a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to there, and a little bit of pepper. More salt, have that break down a little bit more. And I'm just going to let that cook for a couple minutes while it kind of browns up the beef a little bit. Right here, I have a bay leaf. Okay, I'm just going to throw that bay leaf right in there. You don't need a lot of it. And right here, I actually have my pilau spice. Okay, what I would suggest is you can actually go to the store and you can buy this right in a container. And if it calls for a teaspoon or 2 teaspoons, you can buy it already made. Because what you don't realize is this spice right here I actually made though. It's actually made of 5 different ingredients. So I have cinnamon sticks, I actually have cardamom pods, cloves, cumin seeds, and black peppercorns. And what I did is I actually took a saute pan, I put them in the saute pan about medium-low heat, and I just kind of cooked them on dry until they kind of were fragrant. And I'm basically toasting the spices. Then I put them into a little spice blender, and I kind of just ground them up, and this is what I end up with, is my pilau spice, okay? And I'm just going to add that right in. Stir that around a little bit more. All right, then what we're going to do, I'm going to grab a little bit of cilantro, and add a little cilantro in there. Now, what people don't realize is when you're using cilantro, you can actually use the stems, okay? I know a lot of times you see people that kind of just chop the stems right off. Don't worry about the stems. The stems are perfectly fine, okay? But what I do is I tighten it up. See how I tighten that up like that? And then all you got to do is just chop it, just like so. That's it. I'm just going to take that, put my cilantro right in there. Again, give it a quick stir. The meat's starting to brown, the onions are starting to really caramelize. Then right here, the old potato, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to peel the potato, okay? Just like so. And again, I'm using just a standard baking potato. You know, whether you use a russet, an Idaho, it'll work fine, okay? And basically what it is in this dish, some people put potatoes in it, some people don't. It's really personal preference. What you have to understand, though, is that potatoes are very inexpensive, and they actually bulk up the stew. They're very filling. So I'm a firm believer in all the flavors that we're putting in there, which you're going to see in a little while. We're actually going to put some beef broth in there, and some other things go really, really well with potatoes. Okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off the end there. Just like so. Now I'm cutting these in pretty good chunks because what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow this to simmer, and I want to have these potatoes, I don't want them to cook away. I want them to actually be noticed inside my stew. Get those going like that. Throw that around a little bit. And then right in with my tomatoes, okay? You can use Roma tomatoes. You can use, you know, your regular standard hothouse tomatoes. It really doesn't matter. I wouldn't do like a grape tomato or a cherry tomato. Looking for something that's a little meatier. And dump those right in there. Clean up our cutting board a little here. Stir that around. Oh, it's good. And what's going to happen is all those tomatoes are just going to cook away. They're going to cook into the sauce. and it's going to make it like really rich and delicious. All right, here we go. You ready? Rice. I'm using basmati rice, or you can use jasmine rice. It's perfectly fine. I'm using basmati. Just going to sprinkle that right in there, okay? And what I want to do is I want to kind of wake it up a little bit. I want the rice to kind of basically explode, okay, is what I'm looking for. I'm actually like, just like you do a risotto, you get your rice in there, you kind of stir it around a little bit, get it nice and hot, and then what you're going to see is we're just going to add a nice beef broth to this, and we're going to deglaze our pan. If you're looking for the beef broth, what you can do in the grocery store, you just go right down the grocery store aisle. You might see the cartons there that say beef stock or beef broth. It's actually the same thing. Doesn't really matter. But what I want to do here is I just want to deglaze my pan. What that means is all the little bits of flavor, the onion, the garlic, the ginger, the meat, everything that I put in here is kind of cooked to the bottom of that pot. And I want to get it off there because it's called fond. That's all really good flavor. So I just go right around, just like so. And what I want to do is I want to bring this to a boil. Then I'm going to lower it to a simmer. And what it's going to do is it's basically going to cook, and all that rice is going to absorb all the beef broth, and we'll have a delicious stew. Let's look at the salad we're going to make today. Okay, again, this is basically what we might refer to here in the United States. It looks like basically guacamole. Okay, if I mashed up these avocados, it would be guacamole. I have avocados, red onion, cilantro, a little bit of serrano pepper, some tomatoes, and lime juice. Okay, but in East Africa, this would be called, again, kachumbari. Okay, and I just want to squeeze that lime juice right in there. Like so. And again, this is the acid that's going in there, is what we're doing right now. Perfect. All right, I'm going to take my spoon here. Just going to mix this all together. Add a little bit of salt. Looks good. That looks really good. Oh, really good. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this right into our bowl like so. And this is an accompaniment. It just goes on the side of our pilau. Put that right in there like that. And then, I actually can show you right now, I actually have some made that actually had a chance to simmer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, put it right in there like so. You can see the beef right on there and all that good stuff. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take, this is not just my addition, I put a little bit of sour cream on top. That's personal. I just like that creaminess. A little sprinkle of cilantro right on top, just like so. And there it is, our East African pilau with our kachumbari salad. I hope you enjoy. It's that easy.